So, this issue begins, great cover by the way, with how it ends. Now, if you open it up to page, no, we'll skip that, we'll get to that at the end because it's really important. Anyway, as you can see right here, Spidey is fighting a new group of villains called the Managerie, I think? Managerie, I don't really know. But they're a group of D-list animal-themed villains. So anyway, they are robbing the Christie's Auction House, the famous Christie's Auction House, and they're stealing priceless antiques. And so yeah. And so a lot of stuff happens, and then you realize something really strange when Spidey appears. Why is that just his hand? And why is that just his hand? Things are about to get real messy. So yeah, after a lot of time, you suddenly realize he's practically naked. And you'll find out why later. And he says the best line ever. Okay, this is exactly as bad as it looks. So anyway, after that, it goes back to 3 hours earlier, which is basically when the comic should begin. So, yeah, it begins with him saying, like, wow, my death was greatly exaggerated. I'm back. Or, I'm Peter Parker and I'm back, or something. And then he still has to face the fact that the Superior Spider-Man left him with Parker Industries, Anna Maria Marconi, practically everything that he doesn't even know how to handle. And so now he has his own company. And yeah, after Goblin Nation, everything got completely kind of destroyed. So he announces to everyone that he is done making equipment for Spider-Man. And yeah, there's this new character named Natalie Long from the Fact Channel, which is apparently going to be an important news channel for upcoming issues. And so, yeah, a lot of stuff happens, and then he starts to reflect on how Doc Ock took over his body, right there, as you can see. And then it shows Anna Maria Marconi gets home, and she finds that Peter, or Doc Ock, was going to propose to her. And because she finds the ring as well as a bunch of notes telling him what to say, which was pretty cool. And then you find out that Electro, well, this is part of a backup issue soon, you find out that Electro is actually seen putting practically destruction to this here building. And so this means that Electro is going to be in upcoming issues. And then Mayor J. Jonah Jameson, he watches his own resignation on the news. And he just sits there depressed, saying like, I'm done, I'm finished. And then he decides that he wants to go back to the Bugle, but they completely betray him by giving him an article saying, Mayor no more. Jameson leaves the office in disgrace. Yeah. So Peter Parker is having trouble with his company and whatnot. And so they have to get rid of every single thing that Spider-Man has, that they've built for Spider-Man, because they're no longer in business with him. So Sajani takes her to a room full of Spider-Man suits and equipment, and he just picks one up, and he goes web slinging in the best shot ever. And so yeah, then we cut to see that the Menagerie, this is exactly where it happens now, is robbing the Christie Auction House. And Skine, or Gypsy Moth, or whatever, she's an old Spider-Woman villain, unweaves his suit. And so that's how it leaves off now. And so everything goes on, the battle ends, and then everybody just tells me to get the frick out of here or something. So he flies back home, and he puts some clothes on, of course, and then he runs into Anna Maria Marconi. And this, my friends, is the biggest twist of all time. One of them. Anna Maria Marconi finds out that he is Spider-Man. And that's exactly where it ends, and that's where we're going to find out next issue. So yeah, so now we're gonna get to that important part I said at the beginning. You're not gonna believe this. This shows some scenes from the page 3 of Amazing Fantasy number 15, which I've read on the digital comics app because it's like really expensive, of course. And so, do you see here? The spider is still alive after biting Peter Parker. And then it bites someone else. Dun dun dun. So anyway, the rest of the comic is basically just backup stories, which have a lot to do with the upcoming issues, including Lucky to Be Alive, which is what we just reviewed, recapturing that old spark about Electro and how he comes to be in this issue, Cross Paths, which is about Black Cat, and you will actually see Black Cat right here, in that shadow silhouetted figure right there. That's actually Black Cat. Then there's also How My Stuff Works, which is just like a cartoony mini Marvels comic featurette. Homecoming, sort of, starring Spider-Man 2099, because this series is starting soon. Kane, which is about Scarlet Spider and the New Warriors. And Learning to Crawl, Amazing Reality, which is a prelude to the upcoming Amazing Spider-Man number 1.1, which is going to be possibly the craziest secret backstory ever. And so, yeah, I'm gonna be reviewing that right after this because it just came out. But yeah, so that's the end of the review. Now let's get to rating it. Now, how would I rate Amazing Spider-Man number 1? Okay, lousy, okay, kinda wowie, cool, awesome, or masterful? Obviously, I kind of give this an awesome. I mean, it wasn't masterful because for the first issue, it didn't have a lot of Spider-Man in it, but it did have a lot of embarrassing moments. So you know what? I'll just go ahead and give it a 5 for awesome. So yeah, this issue being pretty cool, I'm pretty excited for the rest because this is gonna be quite the ride. And so yeah, I hope that you tune in for Amazing Spider-Man 1.1 coming out very, very shortly. In fact, there's an ad for it right here. Yeah, I'll be reviewing that one. It's called Year 1 Learning to Crawl. And instead of continuing this story, it continues Spider-Man's history, his secret history. So I'll do that one probably tomorrow, and I hope you stay tuned for that. Because I don't know, I'm kind of new to this review thing. And so, you know, I'll get better after a while, but yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. And Black Cat's Review Room is tuning out for now. Stay tuned for more. Oh, and before I go, I forgot to tell you that they changed the logo, and it looks super sweet. They changed the logo from, well, you can see a couple differences. For example, the in Amazing Spider-Man is actually now, instead of cursive, it's straight up writing. And it's less 3D now, it's more of like a 2D image. And there's also webbing in the background, so yeah, it's a pretty cool new logo. Yeah, this time for real, peacing off.